Hey guys, it's me, Bill from Alec Games, and it's that time again, Tuesday evening, where and I say we because those of you who are watching uh, play a big part in this, but we are using RPGMaker MV to make the simplest or a very simple RPG. But yeah, guys, we are making a simple RPG. And yeah, this is our third episode. Last week we were setting up what were we doing? We were setting up our party, just very basically, and just going through how to do that. Tonight we are going even further into the minutia of creating RPGs, and we're going to be looking at character stats. And I've already created limitations where um we're only uh, the highest level your characters can go is level 10, again, to make it simple. So we only have to map out stats up to level 10, which should hopefully make it easier for us to do any balancing as we progress through making the game. um yeah, we'll talk about that a bit more. um In other news, uh, from last night's Twitch stream, I had enough concurrent viewers that I will be becoming a Twitch affiliate. Woohoo! Well, hey, really cool. Which means I'll be able to monetize, get subs, stuff like that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I still gotta go through the steps of filling out tax stuff and whatever, but I'll look at that tonight. But yeah, really excited, and again, couldn't do it without you guys coming along to my streams and showing your support. So I really appreciate it. Um, and hopefully, it just means that the channel will get bigger, and because really, I just more people that are viewing, especially with the Monday night streams, the more people we can get looking at these awesome indie games. Um, but yeah, so that's cool. That's exciting. Um, yeah, that's kind of it at the moment. So let's not dilly dally. Let us get into let us jump right in. Also, for those of you that new, if you're watching the stream after the fact, um, as I'm making this game, we're gonna have a hub town, and it's going to be filled with NPCs. But who are these NPCs going to be? Well, they will be you, my followers. For those of you that will follow, you can fill out a Google form, and you can tell me the character that you want in the game. I'd be better off streaming and software and game development. You reckon? Maybe we can try it. Maybe next stream. It has way more followers. Okay. I mean, I can change it right now, can't I? We try that. What are we saying? Software and game development. Yeah, 2.7k followers. Nobody's watching Thingamabob streams. All right, cool. Updated. Thanks for the tip, Code Red. What was I saying? That does have 400k followers, but well, I mean, this was technically, it was saying that there's no viewers for RPGMaker, but 2.7k. But who am I competing with? Who owns the software and game development Twitch space, really? But that's all right. We'll see who. Yeah, exactly. Pirate Software. Maybe if I talk like this, and to develop games, you've got to game your develops. Let me bring up Microsoft Paint here. Anyway, that's my my great impersonation there. So glad I hit second puberty. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, so followers, yeah, fill out the Google form, and as long as you're following me on Twitch, I will put your character to in the best of my abilities into the game. Yes, the Hubtown, thank you, trailer. And now that I will be an affiliate, that means I can have subscribers. So what's an incentive for subscribing? You will get a sub quest for your NPC. I may be creating a lot more work for myself, but I might not even get any subs, so it might not even be a problem. But that's what I plan to do, is if you sub to the channel, not only can you have a character in the game, but we will also create a sub quest that they can have. You know, how complicated is that going to get? I'll have to figure that out. Obviously, it might be simple. You know, you can, maybe the objectives will be very simple. You know, go kill 10 rabbits, but you can write a paragraph about the story behind the quest. You know, and that's where it gets interesting narratively. But mechanics wise, it'll be very basic. Anyway, don't have to worry about that now. This NPC thing is a sneaky way to data mine us. Trailer, don't make me ban you. But I won't, because I need your data. Yeah. I wouldn't even know what to do with your data, to be honest. Oh, I guess I could sell it to third parties or whatever. How much do people charge? I don't even wow, deep dive into that world. But look, maybe we'll make it a mutual thing. I sell your data, and some of the profit goes back to you. You know, Facebook would buy. Like your data specifically, trailer. Your, like, is there something that Facebook specifically wants from you? But yeah, so that's an idea. That's potentially what I want to do for subscribers. Maybe I'll come up with other things. They've been after me for years. The Zuck wants you. Excuse me. But yeah, anyway, let's get into it. Let's start doing stuff. Let's make a game. Coolies. So it's not entirely boring. I have done a rough duty what's it ahead of time. How well can you guys see this stuff? Do I need to zoom in? Maybe we'll zoom in a bit more. We'll just move that around. So we've got our 4 classes. We've got the knight, the rogue, the mage, the cleric. I've color coded the tables because that's fun to do. It tickles my brain. And you know, so we kind of said before in our game design document is really what I should call this. I was just like, guys, do an overview of your game. There's a name for it. It's a game design doc. This isn't a very thorough one. But you know, sometimes it's about just putting something down and you can tweak it up later, or just whatever works for you and helps you manage your ideas. So, you know, we were saying we wanted the knight to be an all-rounder. We wanted the mage to be really strong with spells, but weak in pretty much every other regard, with low HP. The rogue, high DPS, so, you know, good at hopefully the highest attack stat, but low HP to balance that, and potentially low defense as well. And then the cleric is your tank, so they're going to have the highest HP, best defense, yada yada. And so I've tried to reflect that here in our stats. I've started with low stats. Maybe, with JRPGs, the number go big. But because we're only moving across 10 levels, and because we want to more easily manage and balance the game, even though we haven't even looked at, the formulas that we're going to use for attacks and things, so this is all going to have to be taken into account. We've laid out these stats. So the knight is the all-rounder. So I've made, level 1, 100 health, 10 MP, because they can use abilities, 15 attack, 15 defense, 10 magic attack, 10 magic defense, 10 agility, which affects like turn order, and 10 luck, which actually affects status effects and how easily I don't know whether it's just defense against status effects, or it's also whether how well you inflict them. So taking that into account, the rogue has a higher luck stat. And, the progression, I really could have used formulas to do this a lot easier. Especially when I want to change, if I want to change these stats, but that's okay. Again, we're working on a small scale, so it's not a huge deal. But if I, was wanting to map out levels 1 through 99, then, you'd want to think ahead a bit more with that. So, we've got, those stats. And then when it comes to the rogue, again, we wanted to say lowest health, maybe not the lowest health. They've just got a weaker defense stat, I've decided. But the rogue and the mage share the same HP, and the cleric goes up to 150. So we've got all these stats, right? I won't go through them all. It's not a big deal. But I've based them loosely around that, what I outlined in my design document. Now here's a little cheat. So this is something that I do with the games that I've been working on, because again, I want to make things simpler for myself. You could get into the nitty-gritty of working out the stats for individual enemies, but I prefer to treat the enemies like they fall under a certain class, and assigning their stats that way. So we'll try that for now. We might change it in the future, but for now, we might say, the first basic enemy we face, because we want it to be weaker. Well, yeah, we might tweak it. We might make this only 3 tables and have like weak, medium, strong, or something, and use those stats to assign to enemies. But in doing it like a class, you can develop strategies around that, saying that, well, if you're versing a mage type enemy, you just need to get rid of their hate. They've got low HP, but you know that they're going to hit hard with their spells. So you need to take them out faster than, say, the cleric. But, you might also want to take the cleric out first because they'll have heals. But it would take longer because they've got more HP. And while you're trying to take the cleric out, the mage enemy that's in play could one-shot you with a spell, Anyway, lots of things to consider. Also, wrong one. Also, trailer. Feel free to continue your AI rant. I felt bad. I could tell you were really starting to get into your AI arguments, but I had to go. My break was up at work. But I was very interested to hear what you had to say about AI. I'm also pretty anti AI. I think you know, in the right hands and applied to the right things, it could be a very useful tool. But we don't seem to be doing that. That rant is hours long. Well, we're here for a couple of hours, so but yeah, yeah. So let's have a look. Let's get into our stats for our classes. So we're just gonna plug in. We're gonna have to do this manually. We went over this a little bit last week. You know, you can generate a curve between level 1 and 99, and it'll just produce that growth for you. But we'll have to just do it manually. So for the knight, we said 100 HP at level 1, level 2. What did we say? Well, I mean, what I could do with the way this is going, right? HP is always increasing by 100. So we could just go level 99 is 9900 and do normal. And look at that, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7, level 8, level 9, level 10. So it's created that for us. So that is a sneak there. One way to do it. So the MP, it's only going up by 5. So, well, if we bust the calculator out, 5 times 99, 495. So if we go back over here, so what, starting 10 and going up to 495. And look, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And that's what we want. However, I wanted level 10 to have a bit of a boost in some stats. So it actually jumps from 50 to 60. So we'll change that manually. And that'll be fine. Everything is going to go back to analog and physical currency. They say when they crack quantum computers, they will be able to hack every computer in the world in 5 minutes by bank account. Yeah. Okay. That's crazy. But how far away are we from cracking quantum computers? Bottle caps. Start collecting them now. Well, time for the fallout. Less than 10 years, I think. Ugh. Ugh. But I like having my banking all online. Back to the heroes page. So attack, what are we saying? 15 to 110, goes up by 10. So how do I calculate that? I go, it's increasing by 10. So I just add 5 at the end. Is that right? Where's the calculator? Maths, 10 times 99 plus 5. Right? 995. Let's see if that works. 995. 15. Holy mollies, where's it gone? 25, 35, 45. Yeah, okay, that worked. Get some land and find an AI-proof job. Sound like a conspiracy theorist. Well, you know, there's plenty of that to go around. And these are crazy times that we live in. There's oh man. It's a crazy time to be alive. So that did go up the way we wanted, right? But I want level 10 to go up to 110. not 105. Okay. Let's save that. So remember, guys, save often. Save often as you're making your RPG. Yeah. Defense. Defense was the same, right? So what did I say? 15995. And then level 10 is 110. Magic attack. So yeah, this is the exciting part of making an RPG. I mean, this might be exciting to some of you out there. It is kind of exciting. Like generating these tables was fun and thinking about how to lay the stats out, but then actually taking this information and plugging it into the game, that's a bit monotonous. But you know, all you got to do, I mean, I'm doing this while streaming, but if you're just chilling by yourself making your game, you just pop on a podcast or your favorite tunes and you just power through it. Okay, so 10 increasing by 5. So 5 times 99 plus 5, right? What did I do? 5 times 99 plus 5. 500. Right? And 500. Oops. No, what am I doing? And 500. 10, 15. Yeah. Okay. And then here, data entry, right? See, this is where AI would be helpful, right? Where I go, AI, take this information and plug it into the game, please. And it just goes, sure, and just instant. Like that's where AI should be, taking out the monotonous, the busy work. But no, they said, oh, why don't we let it make art? Because, you know, the best part of making art is just the finished product with none of the effort, none of the, and, you know, not creating it in your own style. Um, okay, level 10, what did I say? It goes up to 60. 60. Magic defense. Magic defense. Same deal. So we say 500. Level 10. 60. That's what is going to kill the film and gaming industry. Yeah. Like, it's so annoying because it is it's incredible. Like, you know, the videos that AI can generate. It's incredible. Like, it's not good. It's not art. There's no nuance. There's no taste. It's just, you know, doing what it's told and ripping from, you know, all of the sources that it's infringing upon. But it is like, you know, it is amazing. It is amazing seeing, you know, that a computer can generate a mostly functioning video with, you know, if you want levels of realism, right? People getting fooled by bunny rabbits jumping on a trampoline, you know. Um, it's crazy what it can do, but it's also frightening, and it lacks, yeah, soul. It lacks um, any kind of real effort. It's soulless. So, what are we doing? Agility is the same. 10, 500. Okay. And then luck is the same. Why am I doing this? Why am I working like an idiot? Work smart, not hard. Those bunnies were pretty cute. Yeah, but that's only because real life bunnies are cute, you know? Um, AI did not come up with the concept of cuteness. Okay, using our big brain. Luck is going to be the same. So, um, um 10, 500, 60. Okay. All right. Let's pause for a moment. So we've got our knight. We've got his stats chucked in, and we have the actor set so they can only go up to level 10. And we also have the XP set to the highest it can go, and so you'll need 90 XP to reach level 2, 204 XP, and so on and so forth. And it will take 10,500 XP to get to level 10. Okay. And so hopefully we can balance and pace that out well, so that as you're playing through the game, you know, without having to grind all too much, you will naturally gain the levels that you need to continue to progress through the game. Let's... Okay, so the classic slime will be our first enemy, but let's make it a different color. I kind of like this purple. It's purple slime, right? Let's plug in. So this is going to be a level 1 slime. Okay, so in the notes, I'm writing level 1. So because of the way we're creating the game, and because we don't have plugins, because there's plugins that you can get that will scale enemies and automatically give them, you know, increased stats based on their level. But because we don't have that, we're going to have to manually create our enemies, which is again why. So really, when we're looking at my design document, and what did I say? I said maybe we'll have to reduce these numbers a bit. Maybe we'll make what if we just do four enemy types, because there's 4 classes, right? So 4 enemy types for each area, plus a mini boss, plus a main boss. So right now the 4 enemy types, and there are 4 dungeons. So there's 16 enemies, but I have to create levels uh levels 1 through 10 for each enemy type. So 4 times so what did I say? 4 4 16 16 I'm gonna have to create 160 enemies. Is that what's gonna happen? Look, hopefully as we're going along, I will figure out a better way to do this. But let's, oh, actually, look, we've got our, that's a lot. Yeah. I mean, you know, it would just, yeah, it would just be, you know, once I create the enemy, I can just copy and paste and just increase the stats. Also, if I'm only having, so 4 enemy types, but each enemy type is going to be you know, it's just going to be one of the 4 classes. So there will be a knight type enemy, there will be a cleric type enemy, there will be a mage type enemy, there will be a rogue type enemy. And so the stats for those 4 would be the same. So once I create like my 4 base enemies, so, you know, so let's say the bat is the rogue, the slime is the, what could the slime be? Maybe the slime's the mage, right? Slime casts spells. The orc, maybe it's not an orc. Maybe it's is there a goblin? There's a goblin type creature, isn't there? I don't remember. I don't think there is. Alright, well let's just keep it as an orc for the minute. The orc is the knight, and the minotaur, not a minotaur. Who's our cleric? Who's our cleric? A succubus? A zombie? An actual cleric looking dude? Someone that does heals. Or maybe we'll make it the angel, right? And this would be the cleric enemy. So maybe I just make, you know, why am I even, you don't even need to call it. This will be the base that I use, right? Mage, knight, and cleric. So we would have these. I would do these. This would be level 1. I plug in. I plug in the rogue stats for level 1. So 75 HP, 10 MP, 15 attack, 5 defense, 10 magic attack, 10 magic defense, 15 agility, and 15 luck. XP. So it's level 1. And what did I say? It takes 90 XP to get to level 2. So how many times do I want the player to have a battle? And they could have a battle with multiple enemies as well. So say in one battle against 3 level 1 enemies, the 3 XP each, so they get 9 XP, which means they've got to do that battle 10 times before they level up. Is 10 times too many? Maybe. How long do we want them to play the game for? A lot to consider. And gold. How much gold are you going to get? We'll just make it 3 as well. So right now they just attack, and you know, do they drop items? Had that time, right? Right. So we'd have our level 1, and then let's make this 40. And so I do this, I just have to do this 40 times. Ugh. And then, see, I could be really cheap, right? And I could say, you know, this is the forest rogue enemy, so he's green. This is the forest mage, green. Forest knight, he's already green, but can he be more green? Green, sure. And the forest cleric, green. And we go the Final Fantasy route, and you know, when I copy and paste all of these guys, you know, so if I'm saying 160, I'm copying and pasting all these guys, I, you know, rogue level 1, but it's, you know, it's in the lava place. I wouldn't put the name there. You know, this is in the lava area. So they're red. Red, right? Instead of making it a different sprite entirely. And the only thing that would differentiate them is that they've got different attacks, right? They'll do more fire-based attacks, whereas the forest rogue will do yeah, earth-based attacks, right? But yeah, the most to try and make things easier, I could do this, copy and paste this, and then say level 2, plug in my level 2 stats, 150, 15, 30, 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, and so on and so forth until I do that all the way up to level 10, and then I just take all of that, copy and paste it down here, and then it would cut out some of the work because none of the stats would need to change. All I'd have to do is change, you know, the enemy sprite, whether that's just changing the color or changing the enemy altogether to be more in theme with the area that it's in, and then also change the moves and copy and paste that across. Yeah. So if I got more complicated, and yeah, it would take much longer. I'd have to do it across 160 enemies. So this is where plugins would come in really handy, right? With plugins, I would only have to create my 16 base enemies, and then use the plugin to tell it, hey, when I'm in this area, can these enemies be level 3 or levels 1 to 3 randomly, and it will generate that rather than me having to do it manually. But I'm not doing plugins, at least not yet. So we're gonna end up doing it manually. Will I do it on stream? Maybe. We can just chill and chat. But otherwise, I might try to find time to do it outside of the stream, so you don't have to sit there and watch that happen. Okay, but so we've made our rogue, right? Very basic. We've got the stats plugged in. Let's go to troops. So this is where we can create our encounters. And what did I say? I said 3. So yeah, so you'll have your list here of enemies that you can choose from. Or you can have up to 8. You can have up to 8 before it tells you can't put in no more. So and you know, I think that's pretty reasonable. You don't want to sit through 8 enemy or more than 8 enemy turns, because that can get real boring. But let's chuck 3 in. Let's move them around that way. Let's give it a more forest like more forest like background forest. There we go. So you can, yeah, make it auto name the troops. And what we can do, so with our map, there is, actually let me double check this. If we go edit, region ID. Think. Yeah, so okay. So this, I haven't actually done this in any of my games before. So this, I think, because I don't usually do random encounter system. I have it so that there's a physical enemy on the screen, and if you run into it, you go into a battle. But we can, I think if we, because I want to say, hey, when you're walking on the forest area, you will run into forest enemies. So I think, so I'm pretty sure you paint it like that, and then over here in encounters, the region ID, that's what this is. So the region ID is 1. Obviously, if I painted it with 2, and you can have up to 3, right? So if I, you know, if I painted, you know, I only wanted, I want the forest enemies to also appear here, and also here for some reason. I can go in here, oops, and choose 1, 2, and 3. And so if you're ever walking on any of those tiles, this encounter can happen. And if you're not walking on those tiles, then it won't happen. So let's test that. Let's see if that works. Also, I want a full party for now. So the way I do that is over here in system, in starting party, you can choose who's going to be with you from the beginning. So we want our full party, and I'm pretty sure we made it that they're all equipped. Yep, they're all equipped. And yeah, let's have a look. This system hurts my brain. Yeah. If you think in terms of JRPGs, I think it makes sense. Got our text scroll. cool. We've got our full party. So right now I'm walking around on the grass area, the volcano area. Yeah. And there's no... So I'm not running into any enemies, right? It's not happening. But there you go. The minute I step into the forest, and there's our three enemies. Okay, we're attacking. Oh, that's right. They're really weak, and I haven't tweaked the attacks yet. Cool. And then we got 9 XP, 9 gold. So if we look at the status, yeah. So if I do that 10 times, I'll reach level 2. A little overpowered. Yeah, just a teensy bit. So we're gonna tweak that. And so we remember we put the 2s down here. And so if we're walking there, we've got our duty whatsits. Also these guys are way more powerful at the moment because I haven't tweaked their stats yet. So yeah, they do a lot of damage. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that's the idea there. So, but we actually only want them to appear in the forest area. So yes, they're all level 1, right? Yeah. Cool. And so yeah, and then I would go over here with 2s. Oops. It doesn't. Wait. So, you know, if I wanted to, I could make it that there's, you know, if you walk in a certain area that you can, find a secret encounter, you know? So I put that one up there. And so if, I mean, you wouldn't, you know, maybe it's like here and you walk around and you go, nice. And you, yeah, I could make it, there's a secret encounter here. An enemy type that you can only encounter if you walk in this specific area. And, you know, maybe they have really high HP, but when, and just really spongy, but when you kill it, you actually get a ton of experience, you know. The possibilities are endless. You know, and so I want to make it that this grass area here is actually a safe zone. So you can't actually encounter any monsters while you're walking around here. And you know, here we've got level 3 monsters. But there's not actually, there's no monsters in the deep waters. But they can't swim. So we've got our regions mapped out. And then when we get into the actual dungeon map, You know, same thing. I'll paint the numbers out, and I will say on the map, hey, when you're walking here, no leviathans in the water. Well, see, there you go. I can say, you know, just in this corner here, there is a secret leviathan boss. And maybe we'll call it trailer. Yeah. So all right, so what do we want to do at this point? What's going to be today's goal? It's going to be boring, but I think we want to map out the rest of the stats for the party, because then we can get to testing yeah, and figuring out, you know, how much damage attacks are going to do, and, you know, do some mock battles and stuff. Maybe I'll set up the base, you know, level 1 enemies as well. Yeah. So all right. Let's get into it. So let's just plug it in one by one. 15, 5, 100, 75, 15, 55, 600, 675, 750. Bada boom. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 60. Attack. 15, 80, 45. Damn, I'm worried that the rate at which these stats are jumping up might actually make it really unbalanced. Like because that's the thing, the game's going to scale with you, so you get to, so the levels of enemies across the game will only go up as you defeat each temple. So you go through the first temple, and maybe you decide halfway through the temple you want to actually go to a different temple. You go to the other temple, the enemies are still only going to be levels 1 through 3. But that's the thing, the disparity between, you know, if I'm level 1 and I'm fighting a level 3 monster, you know, my defense stat of 15 versus their attack stat of 35, like, am I getting and I've only got 100 HP, like, am I getting destroyed? You know, even though I'm versing an enemy that's only 2 levels higher than me. More things to consider. This is where I don't know actually. but I imagine that this is where a lot of RPG devs will struggle, is figuring out how to create that balance, um and doing it quickly, because if you're, you know this is hard. It's a lot of playtesting, yeah, right. It's especially hard if you're just a solo dev and you go, oh, um I think the game's fair and balanced, and it's only because you know everything about the game, and you get someone to playtest it and they go, I can't get past the first encounter, you know. So yeah, it's because I did that. I'm currently making a game called The Pit, and I want it to be this, you know Souls likey kind of dark fantasy game, where it's meant to be difficult, but I made the difficulty so hard that, and I thought this was a good idea at the time, because I was like, oh, maybe it's a bit more like, but it's got like extraction gameplay elements to it, where you start off really underpowered, and the point is that as you get into encounters, you don't want to get into encounters with enemies because you'll die, because you're so weak at the beginning. And so I want you to die a few times and then go, oh, maybe I just should avoid fights altogether and actually spend my time exploring the map, gathering resources, extracting myself out of the level, because it's like a roguelite as well. I was just mashing things together. Yeah. Extracting out, selling everything that you got, using those resources to level yourself up until you're at a point where you can be powerful enough to actually fight enemies. But yeah, then I got my brother to playtest it, and he was just like, why do I keep dying? This sucks. This is really bad. I was like, maybe it is bad. And like, I tweaked it a bit, and then I started to give the player more power. But still, yeah, fine tuning it so that it's difficult, but it's not impossible. And, because he was just resetting his runs over and over again. But because he kept, yeah, he wasn't, yeah, anyway, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to do. Did I do this right? Okay. That does sound like fun though. Well, you're welcome to try the game. Wait, why did I do this wrong? Oh, because I'm doing the rogue. I'm so stupid. Defense 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. But yeah, I have an early access version that you can play on itch. It's very, very rough. And my plan was that I would keep working on it and get a demo version out, because the early access version you can technically play through the whole game, but there's like incomplete maps, like tons of placeholder stuff, and it's really only the first area that's actually mapped out. Played some rough games. Me too. um yeah. uh well, maybe I'll, to give myself a little break after crunching all these numbers, maybe we'll play through my current build of the game, and you can have a little look. And see what it's doing. Cool beans. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Oh yeah, how'd you go with Cyberpunk? How much more did you play? Did you, because you were pretty close to the part where you can just, if you want, you can just start running around. Because you go to meet with Jackie, but you know, because you sit down with him at the cart, but you don't have to sit down with him. You can just wander off and start doing stuff. Okay, what's agility? 15. I need to move my keyboard over. 15, 30. You're playing it right now. Oh, nice. Watching you play it makes me want to play it again. I don't, not too much further. Yeah. Don't tell anyone, but like when the new update for it came out, you know, that because that was the thing. I was really excited for it. Then it came out, then everyone was like, guys, this is a broken, buggy mess. Stay away. And that was disappointing. And I was like, well, I'm not going to touch that game until they fix all the problems. And then they did. And they put out that big update along with the DLC. And I was like, I don't have money, but I want to play it. So I don't tell anyone. But I sailed the 7 seas. And yeah, I actually played through a fair amount of it, and then I just stopped playing for ages because I think you're recording. I know, I know, I know. My affiliate's gonna be taken away from me. Okay, we did it. We did it. We mapped out the rogue. Hey, but hey, it's all a happy ending because I have officially bought the game now. I properly own it. So, you know, I have supported the devs and done the right thing. But yeah, and then I started a new playthrough when I bought it again, and then I was trying to. So the first playthrough I focused on like the fists because I actually really like games that let you do like unarmed combat. You know, even if it's not that fleshed out properly, there's just something very cathartic about punching your enemies to death. It feels very cool. And so I had like the gorilla cybernetic arms, and yeah, it's very satisfying. Just you know, laying some 1-2 combos on enemies and watching them fling around the map. But this time in this playthrough, I've got I'm focusing on katanas, being a real weeb. Cool. All right, we've mapped out the rogue. Let's detour for a little bit. Let's have a look at let's have a look at the pit. Oh yeah, there's placeholder enemies at the moment too. Currently running around with shotgun. Shotguns are fun. Shotguns are good. Is it a double barrel or is it like an automatic? Because the double barrel is really satisfying, but it's annoying reloading all the time. Double barrel, yeah. It just eviscerates enemies. So yeah, this is the pit. I shoot at the enemy and then walk up and shoot them in the face. Yeah, right. It's so good. Yeah, just sprinting up, just taking them out with a shotgun. It's so good. Yeah, so so this is what you can do with plugins, right? This is, you can have custom lighting. You can have custom menus. You can have auto saving. Yeah, this is made in the same engine. Use heat. Oh, right, because I bided. Oh. Ooh, I'm gonna die. So this is gonna, well, this whole introduction section of the game is gonna be different in the full game. But yeah, that's meant to be like a fight that you lose, but I also, the enemy just tanked 400 damage. Yeah, well, you're meant to lose this battle, right? But if you know what you're doing, but I want it so that if you know what you're doing, you can defeat him. But it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different anyway. But it's still gonna be a similar thing of so yeah, so see how I've got this custom HUD as well. I've got my health and mana in the corner. I've got a thing showing my essence, which is 1,000. So it's a roguelite, so every time you pass through that flame, any equipment you had on you gets destroyed. This is where you can heal. You can get tutorials. It's going to be this burden system where you can equip like modifiers that, have really good effects, but also a big drawback. This is where you level up your stats. And the gimmick with this game, or one of the gimmicks of this game, is that every time you die, you're technically traveling back in time. And so all these skeletons that are here, they're actually people that were living in this area, but have died over time. Because you're like this immortal being. But you've been cursed by the big bad, so that's why the intro is going to be different, because you're going to fight against the big bad, and then this big bad is going to like do this thing that causes you to move back in time every time you die. And so the more times you die, the more populated this area will actually become, giving you access to shops, and like a bank to store your essence and all this other stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I don't have enough. Alright, let's just boost my stats. Boost my stats. Yeah, and you kind of have to be with, because this is This is the game that I want to be my first game to put on Steam, but it probably won't be. If anything, it might be the game that we're working on now, because I want, as part of this tutorial stream, to show the process of what you'd have to go through to put your game up on a storefront. You know, so we'll start with itch, and then we'll look at how to chuck it on Steam as well. Which would be cool. So yeah, so we've healed. So next, so that first flame that you go through removes all equipment that you've got. After you've died a couple of times, one of the first NPCs that comes back is someone that lets you sell your equipment for essence, which is the stuff in the corner here, which is basically your souls, your currency. But every time you start a new run, you lose all your essence. So now I've got 0. But it's roguelite, not roguelike, because you know, you can like the upgrades that I've done to my stats and stuff are permanent, so they stay with you through each run. There's also 13 equipable weapon types in the game. And this chest at the start will always give you a random one, but you'll always have a weapon to start off with. I prefer being able to slightly parry rogue games. Yeah. I don't know. Time's too valuable to just, you know, completely lose all your progress, you know? It's too devastating. So these are the enemies. So this is what I mean for my games. Again, it's a placeholder enemy, placeholder sprite. So werewolf is bad. So you know how I talked about having like class systems to decide my enemy stats? Well, that's what I've done for my enemies in this game. So there's also some interesting things here that I'm trying to implement. There was a werewolf the entire time. Yeah. These are just the default sprites that come with the game. I'm gonna make, hopefully we'll run into one and you'll be able to see, but I'm trying to do my own custom enemy sprites. But yeah, combat wise, I'm trying to do some interesting things. So you have this bide mechanic where you'll guard for your turn, but then you'll get 2 actions on the next turn. So now I can do 2 things. And I can cast 2 spells. So I'll do that. Well, that did a lot of damage. Whoa, that did a heap of damage. Oh, because he must be... okay, and so I've also mapped out the elemental weaknesses of the enemies currently. And so being a spellcaster is actually really OP in this game, as long as you know the elemental weaknesses. So we just picked up an accessory, the Ring of Grudges. Carry your grudges between battles, a ring that won't let go. So what, it's cryptic, but what this ring does is, so we have this stat here called PS, which is like a battle meter. So as you take damage, as you deal damage, it goes up, and it allows you to perform abilities. But every time you leave a battle, it resets to 0. But with the Ring of Grudges, you can carry that, you can build it between encounters. I've got some puzzles. So there's a stone slab that you can find on the map that tells you the code. Anyway, let's fight this guy. Yeah, so this is one of my custom sprites. So PS is used for super attacks. Well, it's not just super attacks. So it lets you use battle arts. So, and there's actually you start off with a whole bunch that can really help your survivability. So like, there are traps in the game that inflict status effects, and then enemies as well can inflict status effects on you with their attacks. But if you've got enough pressure, that's what the PS stands for, pressure, you know, you can heal all your status effects. You can do HP regeneration. You can recover your MP. You can do a stronger attack. And you can make it so that you regenerate HP over time. And then there's the heat skill, which actually raises your pressure gauge to full, but there is a chance that you'll get the status effect burnout. And what burnout does is prevents you from using the bide command, and then your pressure also decreases slowly over 10 turns or something like that. So it's actually pretty detrimental. So it's a risk reward type thing. So we'll use it right now, even though I don't need pressure because I'm a mage at the moment with the cane that I've got. So see, so the custom sprite fits well. Yeah, so that's, yeah, it's more gonna be this kind of looking stuff. So I got the burnout status effect, which yeah, so you can see my pressure's already gone down 20 points per turn. So it's, you know, and this status effect stays with you for 5 turns, I'm pretty sure. So it dwindles your resources, but oh, so this is a mage type enemy, so they're actually they'll be resistant to spells. But this spell in particular, the force missile, actually doesn't use an element, it's a physical attack. So it does a bit more damage. And mages are also weak, they've got low HP. Wow, take that, yeah. But yeah, so you go through the level, there's traps. So there's this boulder trap where if I get hit by the boulder, it hurts me. So you see I was losing health there. Oh. Uh-oh, I stepped on a trap. Oh. I tried to dodge it. So now I have, yeah, a status ailment. But see how the grudge ring helps me carry my... Yeah, right. Oh, another trap. Defend. Oh man. You can't die from traps, but yeah, I've only got 2 HP now. And there's actually no way to heal outside of battle unless you find food, which can be found in... Oh, not in there. Supplies? Yeah, alright. Oh. Weed killer. So yeah, the idea is to like explore the map. Oh yeah, so here's the tablet that I was talking about. So if we restore this using our currency, it'll give us a code. Is there a way to extract, or do you have to die to finish the run? Yeah, well, when you've died enough times, there is an NPC that appears who allows you to extract. And what he'll actually do is double the essence you would make as well. So you extract and you get twice as much. 3667. So if we go back to that door, gotta avoid this guy. Oh, the stone. I want that chest. Oh, nothing in it. Okay, so if we go back the way we came. Uh-oh. Ah! No. What did we say? 3667. Yeah. Yeah. And look, we got a whole bunch of monies. Nice. All right, let's get into a battle and die. Oh. Oh yeah, so here's another. Good guy's bad at avoiding traps. Yeah. It is stat based. And even then your stats can't make you perfectly avoid traps. It just increases your probability. But yeah, look at all these status ailments: bleeding, burning, crushed. But I could, well, I want to heal myself first. So I've made it that the heal ability can only be used in battle, and you can only use it once every 3 turns. Don't think I'm gonna win. I could. Here's so this right now, right? So they're preparing for a big attack, and this is a signal for it. So this is how the player will learn, oh, this is a good time to use Bide, so that I can block against the attack and not take as much damage. Oh, geez. And now I have 2 attacks for this turn, which I will use to heal. And let's get health regeneration going. Ooh. Alright, so he's preparing a big attack again. So again, I can block it. Hopefully I'll survive. Oh, I don't think I will. Oh, just. And I can heal again. And let's try a spell. It doesn't do a lot. We inflicted a status effect. Yeah. Oh, that's why it did so much damage. So I forgot. So one of the systems that I've set up, right, as part of the Bide system where you get 2 turns, is any elemental attack you do inflicts an element on the enemy, but only for that turn. And if you pair 2 spells together that work together, and they don't just have to be spells, they can also be... Uh-oh. Oops. Oh, so this is another thing. The enemy can sometimes randomly transform into a stronger enemy. So yeah. And they get all their health back as well. So we'll try and buy it again, because I gotta show this off. Oh, don't kill me. Okay. So the fire attack inflicts the fire. See, and then the ice attack, you know, does extra damage based on the element that's inflicted on it. Yeah, so we actually ended up winning that battle. Yeah, elemental combo, basically. Yeah, that's basically it. There's a small hole in the wall. What should we do, trailer? We're gonna reach in. What's gonna happen? Oh, there was some meat. Wall meat. Nice little Castlevania reference. So yeah, you can, if you find food, you can use it to heal outside of combat. So this is the thing, right? I know this game very well because I've made it. And so I knew how to win that battle. I mean, it was also lucky that I happened to have a staff. Uh-oh. Oh. So, yeah. So, after a certain amount of time in the dungeon, if you don't, like, beat the level, you have an endless pursuer. Who just, he's slow, but he's just gonna follow you the whole time. Damn it. Oh, the cestus. Cestus is cool. It's like a fist weapon. We'll show it off. We'll die. We'll die to the... Yeah, to the shadow enemy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Gosh, I need to heal. But yeah, someone that's new to the game that hasn't learned all the ins and outs of the combat and stuff yet, like they're gonna have a hard time. But hopefully they stick with it long enough that they learn the ins and outs. Yeah, so the cestus or the fist weapons are OP and broken, and I may nerf them in the future, but I kind of don't want to, because all their attacks from their special abilities have a chance to stun. And the pummel attack does 4 hits, and each hit has a chance to stun them. I don't think I would have won that last fight. Yeah, and that's, you know, and that's only because you don't know enough about the way the combat works. But once you do, you can get into like a rhythm of healing and... This does seem overpowered. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's a gun weapon. That's one of the weapon types, is a gun, and it always has a small % chance of just instantly killing an enemy. And obviously, when you get stronger guns throughout the game, that percentage goes up. Yeah, it's a gun, but you know, in the game world, oh, I beat him. In the game world, they're infused with magic. The guns, they're like, it's like a magic type of weapon, so it actually scales with your magic stats. Okay, I'm gonna die on purpose. We can show that off, and then we'll get back into... That was actually a really good run, and I could have kept going too. So every time you die and a new NPC appears, there'll be like a new message here. Again, cryptic. Maybe I'll make it less cryptic to help the player, but destroy in order to create, and this is because this NPC will take anything that you've gathered in your run and turn it into currency, so that way you can actually, you know, you'll still lose all your, you would still technically lose all your equipment passing through this purging flame, but yeah, this way you can sell everything essentially, and get money for it. Which you can then use on upgrades. Do you have an inventory limit? Yes. But, well, for carrying like health items and stuff like that, there is a there is, but there's not like, but you can hold unlimited like weapons, like armor. That's all. You can have as many as you find within the game, you can carry it on you. Oops. So yeah, that's kind of what happens. And so at the end of each level, there's 5 levels to get through, and there's a boss at the end of each level, and you've got to beat the boss in order to progress to the next stage. And then there's like a rest area between each level. So there's permanent things you can unlock here. So you can permanently, you know, have a shield chest. You can permanently have a weapon. So every time you start a new run, you can come here and get a weapon to start with. So the dagger is actually also pretty OP when you use it right. See, and every weapon that you have has its own skill set. So every weapon that you have in the game starts with a skill. But as you play through the game, you can unlock more skills by finding skill gems. And there'll be like 10 skills for each weapon type. But yeah, I think that's kind of showing it off. So kind of a cheat way for me to but yeah, the early access version that's out of the game is missing a lot of the improvements that I've made there. So if you liked what you saw there, don't play the early access, because you'll not have as good a time. But yeah, that's some of the stuff that's possible with RPG Maker. Yeah, I like the aesthetics. Yeah, again, going for that dark, yeah, dark fantasy kind of theme. Yeah, I definitely want to make that. Yeah, and like each level, you start off in the pit where it's all dark and gravelly, and then the next level's like a forest type earth like vine covered in vines type level. Then it's ice, and then it's a volcano type level, and then you're in like a kind of like a castle. But anyway, let's keep making more stats. Let's do the mage. Let's get the mage on there. So 75. 50. But yeah, I think, the ideas that I have for that game, and hopefully, you know, when I've completed it, the combat will be hard but balanced, and that sort of thing where when you understand the tool set that you have, that's what it's not just getting good gear that increases your survivability, it's your understanding of the game, and how it works, will do that. I think you have to get good, yeah, but it's also turn based, so it's not requiring reactions or anything. It's just it's requiring your understanding, um and yeah, rewarding you for taking your time, being methodical. But I also wanted that the further you get into the game, you can, and because like with the chests and stuff, uh it's randomized, and there is a chance that when you open a chest you can find like a really high level piece of gear randomly, right? There's always a small chance of that. And um so I wanted that on, every now and then you'll have a run where you'll just find like some really crazy gear and just blast through a couple of the levels, kind of thing. Because that's one thing that I really enjoy about roguelites, is you can, when you have that good run, man, like you can really get up to stuff, and it's cool going on a power trip. Be really overpowered, yeah. But and that's what's hard, right? Is still building a game where even if you're overpowered, you you still can't be stupid, right? Like, if you're not smart about how you play the game, you could still lose that run. Um, but yeah, I feel like the premise that I have, the story that I plan to have in the game, I think it's all interesting enough and different enough that it's worth me trying to put it on Steam. Like, I wouldn't make it cost very much. And so it's not procedurally generated, but and so when you play through the first levels enough times, you'll eventually get familiar with the map. But essentially, I've created three 3 different maps of the first area, and like it's the same with the second area. It definitely looks better than some of the games I've seen on Steam. Thank you, I appreciate that. Sadly, that also doesn't say much because some of the stuff that gets through on Steam is pure garbage. But that I appreciate that it does, from what you're saying, it does look more appealing than some of the garbage that's on there. Which, yeah, I'm obviously not double A or single A, maybe B minus. But yeah. I think what I have or will have, because it's not finished. It's far from finished. Will be, you know, I think someone would look at it and be like, yeah, I'll try that. But yeah, what I was saying is, it's not procedural generation. But yeah, I've made 3 different versions of the level, and then within each of those 3 different versions, there's 3 different starting points that you can potentially start from. So there's 9, or however many combinations that could be, but there's 9 potential starting points whenever you start a run. And then that applies to each level as well. So all in all, I'll be making like 15 maps that the player can go through. But then, yeah, each of those maps will have 3 different starting points. And so, yeah, so the first time you play through it, you'll be like, oh, is this randomly generated? Is this different every time? But then you'll be like, wait, some of this seems familiar. And then when you've played it long enough, you'll be like, oh, right. That, you'll become familiar with the maps, and when you recognize certain things, you go, oh, okay, well, I know this is here and that's there, and 50, 100, 50. Changes up a bit, yeah. Like, yeah, randomness, but still handcrafted, Um, though I don't know that my level design skills are good enough that the maps that I've created, yeah, the maps that I've created are, gonna feel handcrafted. People playing it might be like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure this was procedurally generated. It's like, no, I made it myself. But I also didn't plan. 10. So are you, um with Cyberpunk, are you just using a shotgun at the moment, or do you have, what's your backup weapon? I 120. I really should have some kind of music playing in the background for these kind of moments. Shotgun, pistol, and LMG. like light machine gun. Pistols are fun. If you level up the right perks and like decide to do like sneaking type gameplay, you chuck a silencer on it and yeah, just take out everyone without them ever realizing that you were there. Pretty good. 85. Should I find just wandering around and getting used to the game so I don't look like a complete idiot when I stream it? Yeah. Well, that's the thing. When you get when you get used to the feel of the game, you can do some pretty cool stuff. Especially if you level up the cool stat, and you know, you can have it like go like slow motion while you're sliding around, stuff like that. But yeah, it's good. I want to find some sniper rifles. Yeah, they're a bit harder to come by. You're probably best trying to look for gun stores on the map and just going to them and seeing if you can just buy one. I would say. Did I do that right? Did I do that right? No, I didn't do that right. Gosh. Gotta get some money first. True. You can actually get a lot of money kind of quickly. You just like looting random stuff you find, selling off. If you, yeah, so once you get your head around crafting, um, you know, you'll probably only ever collect guns off of enemies to for crafting materials. But if you just want money, if you just fight a lot of enemies and pick up their guns and sell them, then you can get a lot of money quick that way. There's probably better ways to do it as well, but that's one way. 15, 25, 35, 45, 75, 85. Sure, I'm trying to figure out all this stuff out. Yeah. Sorry, I probably shouldn't keep telling you how to do things. I should let you find the joy all on your own. Ignore everything I said. I said nothing. I'm trying not to progress the game when I'm offline. Yeah, I mean it's pretty easy to do. Like all you got to do is just not do any of the quests. But you also, I suppose, don't want to get too OP. Some backseat gaming going on. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not even watching you play. Yeah. In the luck stat. 15, 30, no, 45, 60, 75, 90, 25, 120, 150. Okay. So we've got all our stats now for our classes from levels 1 through 10. So one thing I want to do is we're going to try and balance well, we'll see, right? So we've got all their stats. Let's do a test battle. Test battle, and we got everyone there. Wait, why do you not? Okay. Okay, so everyone's got their stats. Looks pretty good, right? I have to bite my tongue when I watch people play. The Oshbaxy game is strong. Yeah. Trust me, it's even worse when it's a game you've made and you're like, oh, but you should do this. And then you realize I have not introduced mechanics properly, or, you know, the tutorial isn't good enough if I have to tell them what to do. Sorry, this is really loud. Oh god. Whoa! He did 105 damage. 87 damage. 72 damage. 66 damage. Okay, so let's... So obviously a basic attack is still too OP because we don't want to end a battle in one round, right? Yeah, especially when it's your own game. Yeah. Nobody knows that I'm yelling at the screen. So let's say, what happens when it's just... So, and this is the thing too, right? The bat is a rogue type character. So their physical defense is very low. But let's just have a look and see how it fares with just attack minus defense with a 20% variance, right? Ahoy! Silver doubloons. It's been a little while. Good to see you. Glad to have you here. I'm sorry. We're actually close to the end of the stream, actually. So, speaking up. But I do appreciate you coming along, Silver. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay. Okay. So that's good, right? We don't kill the enemy instantly. But did you see that the rogue tried to attack the cleric? And the cleric has a really high defense stat, and so they ended up actually doing 0 damage to the cleric. So we kind of don't want that, right? We want yeah, we want there to still always be some sort of damage being done. I get up later these days. Glad I got to catch you. Yeah, later's later. 8 AM here in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia. Where is that? I thought... Are you American or Canadian? I can hear the accent now. Okay there, bud. Definitely hear the accent. Silver, I actually I downloaded Strongly off Steam. Eastern Canada. Okay. West Coast all the way. Yeah, I downloaded Strongly and I spent some time playing it. Yeah. Really good. Really good. I still am not smart enough to get like really crazy hands and runs. I've basically just been like focusing on rainbow cards and like buffing straights and making straights really easy to get. Oh, that's so much. Okay, we get the idea. So it takes a bit. See, they're not. The enemy's not doing any damage. The enemy's not doing any damage, so we don't want that, right? We don't want that because then there's no challenge, right? And that was level 1 versus level 1. Oh, so this is why, right? The weapons and armor. So the weapons increase defense by 10, which is a lot. So we should probably reduce that. And yeah, I forget to think about that, to incorporate. So should I make it that enemies actually have an extra buff to their stats as if they themselves were wearing armor, right? Or do I need to nerf this? Because it's, you know, this would technically be level 1 equipment, so maybe it only gives you 1 defense. This will actually give you no defense because it's a mage hat. It'll give you magic defense. The Pope hat will actually give you 1 of each. What if we do 2? And that's no, only 1, and that's 2. And that gets 1 of each. My favorite build too. It's so good in the early game. Yeah, that's what that's the thing. I'm not coming up with strategies for like late game, you know, to get those really ridiculous high scoring hands. Ask you what some of your favorite RPGs are, Phil. Curious what kind of games influence you. Like influence me in terms of the games that I make. Well, I mean, probably more. I've probably spent more time in my life playing Western RPGs than I have JRPGs. You know, exactly. You know, like Skyrim, Dark Souls. I really love Dark Souls. I'm terrible at it, but like the aesthetic, the execution, like before Dark Souls came out, one of my I'm saying this like I came up with the idea first, but I had an idea in my head of like, man, it would be so cool if someone did an RPG, or if I made an RPG, or someone did an RPG that was a more gritty, more realistic take on fantasy RPGs. And then Dark Souls came out, and I looked and I was like, this is exactly what I thought and what I wanted. This is incredible. Actually, no, it wasn't Dark Souls that I saw first. It was Demon Souls that I saw first. And I looked at that and I was like, you know, as you running around this dark and gloomy castle where there's boulders rolling at you, and you know, the combat was what it is. I thought that was incredible. And I was like, wow, this is exactly what I imagined should have been done. And, you know, it popped off. So I thought of it first, you know? But I'm sure there was lots of people that had that idea, but there's only one man that executed on it. So yeah, so those, yeah, Skyrim, Oblivion. In terms of JRPGs, Final Fantasy X was a big one for me. Even though I never beat it, I got stuck. Final Fantasy 12. I love Final Fantasy 12. I beat Final Fantasy 12. Um, I do currently have on my Switch Dragon Quest Age of whatever S Definitive Edition, subtitle. Um, what else? Uh, it's so weird because well, Cyberpunk, yeah, is a big one. I've enjoyed playing that. What games do I play? Let's look at my Steam. See, there's Strongly. There it is. How long did I play? Yeah, I played for a bit. Well, I'm excited. So, because I'm straight. Oh, Dragon's Dogma. Duh, Dragon's Dogma. I freaking love Dragon's Dogma. So good, so good. And yeah, playing through Dragon's Dogma 2. But after Dragon's Dogma 2, I want to play Lunacid. I want to stream that. It's very, very exciting for me. Yeah, I played Neverwinter Nights, the first one growing up. I was terrible at it, but I also liked using I tried to use the level editor to try and make my own little games. Path of Exile, that's an RPG. Yeah, the Diablo games. Lots of fun. Final Fantasy 15. Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot. Um yeah. I guess those are what have influenced me. But yeah, in terms of classic JRPGs, I haven't actually played a lot. Actually, no, I played through Final Fantasy 1 and 2. I 2 am terrible at Dark Souls. I couldn't beat 2 or 3. Yeah. First FromSoft game I beat was Elden Ring. My favorite Bethesda game is Morrowind, but like Oblivion, Skyrim 2, FF10 is a 10 out of 10 for me. Yeah. 7 is a close second from Square. Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, I do want to get Elden Ring because I feel like I could potentially beat that just because of the way it's designed around, if you come up against something you can't defeat, just go wandering and eventually you'll get stronger, or you'll find something that'll change your build and allow you to keep moving forward. For Dark Souls 3, yeah, I just get too scared playing them because it's just, especially when you got a whole bunch of souls and you're always walking on some precarious edge, and then you die and you lose all hope. um but for the third one, I wanted to see what the rest of the game looked like. I wanted to see the big bosses and all of that stuff, so I put cheats on. Played offline, put cheats on, so I had unlimited health and just like walked through the game basically just to see everything there was. So because I wanted to appreciate what was there, but I knew I would never be good enough to see it all. Oh yeah, I did play Morrowind did you ever play it on the original Xbox with the extremely long load times? I did. I didn't get very far. Um yeah. But anyway, yeah, those are some RPGs. But I've also yeah, nightmare loading times. Yeah. Yeah. I did play it on the original Xbox. Yeah. Yeah. So you're a very patient man, is what I'm understanding. So yeah, so we wanna change these stats. These armors have nothing on them. So 1 defense. Actually, we'll make that 2 as well. Cloak only gives you 1. Robes give you 2. And 1 each for the cleric. Okay. And we also need to change the stats on the weapons, because the weapons give too much of a stat boost. So daggers do more attack. No, 2, 3, 1, 2. No, the staff doesn't increase attack. Increases magic attack by 2. And clerics are balanced. Wait, did you know the Xbox was actually silently rebooting during those long load times? That does not surprise me. My gosh. But that's the I was saying this on one of the streams where I booted up Dragon's Dogma, and because I'd reset my computer, it had to, preload the shaders or whatever, and it made me think about like, oh, remember load times, guys? Remember sitting there waiting for, knowing that it was going to take so long for a level to load, so you would like go off and do something, or go to the toilet, or make yourself some food, or just sit and have a think about life. It was a crazy project to get to work on that machine. I've been watching an 8-hour video of a bunch of the original developers talking about it over the past few days. What do you mean, project to get to work on that machine? What are you talking about? Silver? Did you help design the original Xbox? Oh, so let's change some of the parameters. Let's get rid of some of the extra parameters on the on these weapons to make it more like how it's going to play. Yeah, no. Okay. Morrowind on Xbox. GTA had some vote. Oh, right. It was crazy of them to get it to work on the machine. Right. I thought you were saying you got to work on it. Okay. I was like, that's cool. I'm sure there were a lot of things they struggled with to port over. Yeah. Some of the programmers were talking about how frustrating it was to work with that hardware in the documentary I was watching. Yeah, it's a shame the OG Xbox wasn't more accessible, because it's also made it hard for it to be emulated. I know, because I'm like, well, I used to have an OG Xbox, but I really wanted to play Otogi, which is also a From Software game, which I didn't know, or didn't realize at the time, because From Software wasn't From Software when that came out. But man, I loved that game, Otogi. And yeah, I was like, I want to play it again. So I, looked up how to get Xemu running, but then it doesn't run all of the game properly, so it's a bit of a shame. Cool. So we're resetting. And we'll get rid of that target rate. We're making these more like they will be in the game, and we'll try a battle again. Actually, real quick, I'm going to turn down the sound of everything. Oh, actually, no, don't worry about that. All right, let's just play the game. No, it's still not doing any damage. So... Token didn't work on your Xbox. Huh? No, it didn't work on an emulator. Because, yeah, there is an emulator out there for Xbox, but like the full library is not all playable, and there's still issues with, you know, and I think it's just because of how the original system was that it's actually quite hard for them to get it to emulate. So I think, yeah, we need to change the damage formula for attack. What if we do, ooh, no, that's not going to work. Actually, let's try that. Because I would think technically, attack divided by defense. I don't know if it's gonna muck things up and make the game freeze. Nintendo is going to destroy all emulators. Yeah, seriously. It's just, you know, it's game preservation. And like, these are systems that are long and dead. They're just sad that they can't milk it. Ooh, so this is interesting. Okay. So that's more interesting, right? Because attack divided by defense, you'll always at least get 1 damage, right? But maybe we make it attack times 2 divided by defense. So that way it does at least a considerable bit more damage. Also, let's turn everything down. Hey, you didn't kill him in 1 hit, right? Game development. All right. Maybe we do times 3? It's 75 health. Like, how long do I want battles to be, you know? So this is just using normal attacks. Like, we haven't even implemented using skills yet. Actually, I do have skills. Watch this. Because we haven't tweaked the skills. So... big slash attack times 4 divided by... Let's make it attack times 10. Divided by defense. And... that can... 18? Big damage. Big damage. Attack magic times 20. That one's recover 30 HP. Okay. What? What? Missed? Okay. Skills do considerable bit more damage. Yeah. Okay. So that feels a bit more balanced. I feel like I still want to increase the damage of the normal attack a bit more though. So what if we do times 5? Times 5 might be a bit better. 2 damage to 60. Yeah, true, that's the range. But yeah. Well, you know, you want, or at least I want from combat, that you're not just always being like, oh, I'm just going to spam attack the whole time, you know? I want you to be like, oh, I need to use skills in order to get through this battle. And so, you know, again, there's always so much to consider when you're making these games. You know, do you want it so that, you know, someone on autopilot just spams attack the whole time to get through basic mobs, or do you want every encounter to require concentration from the player? Yeah. So, and you know, you were seeing before from the pit, how throughout the battle my strategy was always changing. You know, for a few turns I was focusing on making sure I was healed, and then I would turn back to dealing out damage. But then the enemy would signal that they're about to do a big strong attack, so I'd have to change my focus again and be like, well, I need to guard, and then afterwards I can follow up with an attack. You know, so, and I particularly want that for the pit, where each enemy encounter that you have does require that concentration, that attention from the player in order to get through it. You know, and it's, again, with that sort of dark fantasy, that, you know, kind of like Fear and Hunger, where, you know, there's tension in those battles. So I don't want to go right to that level with this game, because it, you know, it's going to be a bit more lighthearted. You know, it's meant to be a simple RPG game. But I do still want it to not just feel like the game hasn't been balanced, and that you can, you will be able to be. Oh, that's the thing with the way I'm building the game. You won't be overpowered because enemies will scale with you. You will be able to be, 2, 3, or 1 or 2 levels stronger than enemies that are on the lower level side of the spectrum, but yeah, there will still always be a constant challenge as you go. But this is also going to be a short RPG, so you kind of do want that to happen. But one thing I do love about RPGs that I tend to do a lot, which actually makes me ruin the experience for myself, but I love grinding and getting overpowered and stomping through the next few levels, because I'm over leveled. But this will be a different experience because there's only 10 levels in the game. Anyway, yeah, I think that's probably a good. I love the grind as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. To my detriment. To my detriment. Sometimes it actually puts me off of. It's all about the grind. Yeah, sometimes it puts me off of actually playing through the story of the game because I'm too focused on being like, oh, I just want to grind and level up, and I get sidetracked by that, and then I get bored of the game because then there's actually no challenge. So one thing I've been trying to do lately is play through games, just play through them, as so I can experience it as the devs intended, and not me just having a power fantasy trip. Because I think I've missed out on a lot of experiences where, even like Final Fantasy X, right? I did a lot of grinding, and then I eventually hit a boss that I could not get past, because no amount of grinding was going to make me powerful enough to overcome it. I actually needed to strategize in order to beat the boss, but I did not have the skill set to do that because that's not how I played the game. For most of it, I was just leveling up myself so that I could just stomp through whatever challenge was in front of me. I didn't know that the enemies in FF7 scaled with you. Let's say I never beat the game. Oh, they do? And wow, I didn't realize they introduced level scaling that long ago. I mean, I think they scale in 8, not 7. I feel like it would make more sense for 8 because I feel like 8 had a lot of innovations. 8 made a lot of changes to the formula that they had. But anyway, yeah, this was an interesting stream today. We kind of were a bit all over the place. But it was fun. Thank you everyone that came along. Really appreciate your presence. Trailer shout out especially. Thanks for keeping me company as I did the boringness that is inputting stat sheets. It was 8, yeah. But Yar. That's it for tonight. Again, anyone watching, if you're seeing this, let's switch the camera over. If you're seeing this on YouTube, and you want to be a part of the game, just follow me on Twitch and fill out the Google form, and you can have your NPC in the game. If you want to take it a step further, once my Twitch monetization is properly set up and you subscribe, thanks Silver Doubloons, you too. Have a great one. Yeah, once my monetization set up and you decide that you would like to subscribe to the channel, your NPC can have their own subquest. And I guess I'll put together another Google form so you can fill that out. But yeah, thanks again so much everyone for coming, lurkers. Appreciate your presence as well. Have a great night. We will see you on Thursday. We'll be playing some Dragon's Dogma 2, just having a chill stream. But until then, have a good night, have a great week, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.